Hello, love bugs. My name is Katie May, and I forgot my train of thought. I help to encourage and inspire you guys to follow your dreams and your passions and your goals, to help work through any troubles that you may have through simply just connecting with yourself. So in this video, I wanted to talk about two things. I first wanted to talk about connecting with yourself, what that process kind of looks like and why it's beneficial. And then second, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into branding and why it is so unique and so important. So first, the connection with yourself. I was given the opportunity to connect with my aunt, and she does emotional release therapy, which is super brilliant. Really awesome woman, by the way. And she had this beautiful way of describing your emotions and your body and the connection between them. So, excuse me. Your body, your emotions, and your soul. We have to think about all three of those, okay? So your body is like that outside layer, right? So that's kind of just all the physical feelings. Those are going to be like all the emotions that actually make themselves known through something physical in your body, as well as like tripping and hurting yourself, those kind of vibes, right? Now, your soul is going to be on the very most inside, right? That's going to be your core and your center. And your emotions kind of act as almost like a hallway between them. But the more time that you spend actually building that connection between your body and your soul through exploring your emotions, kind of the lighter that hallway gets and the more clearly that you're able to see all of these emotions come through. So if you haven't spent any time building that connection with yourself, or very minimal time building that connection with yourself, that hallway is going to be very dark and it's going to be very confusing and you're not going to understand it. And that's totally okay. I was only there maybe 5 years ago when I first started to explore all of my thoughts and feelings and emotions and trying to figure this out. And after 5 years, I feel like this is the first year I'm actually able to like stand my ground and be like, yeah, I don't always get them, but I actually get them more now. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we got somewhere. Perfect. So, excuse me. So, I don't know. I think the big thing is just be patient with yourself if you are in like those beginning stages where you're having overwhelming feelings and you finally sit down with them and you're like, okay, like, why are you feeling this way? Like, what's going on? How can I help? How can we work through this together, instead of being like, oh, you're fearful? Girl, bye. Like, why do you even feel that way? Like, you shouldn't feel that way. Like, kind of gaslighting yourself a little bit, which I feel like most of us are really great at doing. But the more that you're able to build up that connection with yourself, the more easy it is to just like take some time, sit down with yourself and be like, all right, hey, I'm struggling right now. I'm looking for a solution. Here's my problem. Here's the answer that I want to have. How can you help me? And then I feel like answers come different for every single person, and that is really the beautiful thing about building that connection with yourself. So I don't want to give you too much detail so that you're able to explore that on your own, but there are some of the ways that I and my friends have experienced it. Is just a thought popping into your head that you're like, okay, that wasn't there before. Some people will have like a voice talk to them, which I think is pretty cool. Other people, they won't even have any thoughts about it at all. Their body will just kind of start moving, or they'll feel inclined to start taking certain actions, even if the answer isn't like super duper specific. And I'm sure that there's like a million other ways that I personally haven't experienced, or that the people I know around me have talked to me about that they haven't experienced either. So just be super duper open to any of the answers that might come through. And whenever an answer does come, like, do your best to really show gratitude for that answer, because everybody wants to feel like they're appreciated, that like, hey, I did something really hard and I want to be appreciated for it, you know? And so show gratitude for the answer, and then also show gratitude to yourself for taking the time to explore your thoughts and your feelings and actually connecting with them more. And that what the really cool part about gratitude is like gratitude breeds gratitude. And so if you are continually showing up and being grateful for yourself and grateful for the answers, you'll then begin to just like show that gratitude to other people a lot more easily. Thank you. And that gratitude will also come to yourself like a lot more easily. And because gratitude is so brilliant, the emotions that come with it are usually more joy, more happiness. And so if you continue to show up and just be grateful for all of these little moments, all of a sudden you have a really joyous and really happy life. Now that doesn't mean that nothing bad is ever going to happen to you. You know, that doesn't mean that like someone in your family isn't going to die. Like your boyfriend or girlfriend, it like won't break up with you. It just means that you're like, okay, like, yes, that sucks. Yes, I'm going to grieve it, but I can find a way through it. Once my body is ready to let go of those emotions and to move past it, and I will be here to sit with her and that grieving version of myself until she is ready. And the more that you try to push those bad feelings away, the more they kind of cling and stick around, and the more that you allow them to have space, there's like going to be a little bit of resistance, at least in my experience, where they're like, oh, you're actually going to listen to me now? I don't believe it. But then the more that you continue to show up and you're like, hey, like, I'm here, like, for reals this time. Like, I'm sorry about not knowing how to be there for you in the past, but, like, I'm here for you now. And slowly with time, those emotions will loosen their grip on your existence. And you'll be able to let those feelings go. And it's really a really beautiful process. It's helped me through a lot of my struggles, especially this last year. Last year was wild. I feel like the end of 2 years ago, leading into last year, was a mess. A big, fat mess. That was kind of crappy, I'm not gonna lie. But it was also really cool because it gave me the opportunity to see if I had actually like learned how to take care of myself. It gave me the opportunity to make sure that I was actually going to show up and be there for myself. So, I don't know. It was just that, it was crappy, but it was honestly really cool now that I'm more so through it than not. So, yay. So, building a connection with yourself takes time. It takes patience. It takes love and understanding. But the more that you're able to build that connection with yourself, the more you're able to actually receive answers in your own physical existence to a lot of your life's problems. And usually the answer is a lot more like simple than you would have previously thought. I wanted to make sure I brought my backpack with me. And then with that connection as well, since you're now showing up for yourself and showing that gratitude and love and appreciation for yourself, you're now actually able to show that gratitude, love, and appreciation to others a lot more easily. And of course it takes time. If you fall away from this practice, like, you'll start to notice it. You'll start to be more angry with yourself and with other people. So you just gotta like check yourself, relax a little bit, start spending more time with yourself, connecting with yourself again, and just asking yourself, okay, like, here's everything I've been doing. Which parts do you not like, and which parts do we want to continue with, and is there anything that we want to change? And having those like even just monthly check-ins can be super beneficial, especially when chasing your dreams and your passions. So that's my, I guess 2 cents, we'll call it, on connection. And the second thing that I really wanted to talk about today was branding. I'm going to be mainly talking about it in the lens of like content creators as well as business owners, because those are the main people that I'm seeing a lot of these questions come up through. But I've been seeing a lot of mainly women, because I connect with women. I love women. But I've been seeing a lot of women recently just saying like, hey, like, I keep being told by all of these coaches and all of these things online that I need to niche down. Like, and it's hard because I have so many dreams and passions and like so many things that I love doing. Like, which parts am I supposed to leave behind, and which parts am I supposed to represent in my business? And Madison Tinder. I'm going to leave her information linked down in the description, so definitely check out her Instagram as well as her new podcast. It's called Out of This Niche. She is the multi-passionate business queen. I would not be in this point in my brand and my business had it not been for just the wisdom that she lovingly shares with everybody. So she has her like little, I don't even know what it is. I guess coaching business, mentoring business, something like that. So she has like her main business, and then she also has her side business that's called Soulful Scrunchies, and it's so cute. I love it so much. And she's so authentic, and she's able to just talk about anything and everything. And like even in one episode of her podcast, she was like, oh yes, like here's my dog laying next to me, and she'll have like cute little like pictures of her dog like hanging out with her. She's doing all her business stuff, and like sometimes it's annoying and sometimes it's cute, sometimes she just hangs out. So like it's just really fun to be able to like explore that side of her that she allows us to see through social media. But I digress. Going back to the topic of branding. So a brand is your values, your beliefs, and your story. So it's going to be your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, essentially, within the scope of your branding or your business or the videos that you post, like whatever else. So when you're able to clearly say, like, here's where I'm at, here's what I'm doing, this is my identity, and this is how my identity is going to help you. This is the transformation that you are going to have after seeing like myself and my identity and everything else in between. You're able to actually show up so much more authentically than if you just kind of niche down like everybody kind of online tells you that you should. There's a water bottle in the parking lot. But I feel like that's the beautiful thing of actually deciding to own a brand instead of just a business, is like these are my values. I'm going to share things that align with those values. So for me, one of my big values is authenticity. So I'm going to show up without too many edits, hopefully. Unless there's like really long awkward pauses, I might edit those out, to be honest. But for the most part, I do my best to really just show up authentically, even with like all of my likes that I say, all of my and all the other like public speaking no-nos, I guess you could say. Even when I laugh uncontrollably and I can't get myself together quick enough for my preference, I'm like, you know what, this is who I am. Sometimes I'm like wacky and spontaneous and I forget what I'm talking about, and that is who I am sometimes, you know. And I would like to work through that so that I'm able to have better connections, but in this moment in my life, that is who I am. Oh wow, that's me being authentic. Another huge part of my brand and my values is going to be my connection. So I always look for ways that I can show you guys what my journey through connecting with myself and my community has been, so that you're able to also explore that in your own lives. And it's not going to look the same. And that's such a beautiful part about it. Because I feel like when I was first exploring owning a business, it was like, okay, all of these people are saying that I need to write a book first. All of these people are saying I need to make a podcast first. All of these people are saying I need to make a YouTube channel first. All these people are saying forget everything else, focus on a social media and start making revenue off of there. And then all these other people were like, you need to have something to sell it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like everybody's telling me all these different things. Where do I start? And it wasn't until I was able to sit down, connect with myself, and be like, all right, girl, who are you? What do you do in your day-to-day lives? What content do you watch in your weekly and day-to-day lives? And how can you start incorporating that into your habits so that it feels natural and it flows and it feels good? Because it wasn't until that I was able to find something that actually felt good to me that I was able to start showing up more through social media, that I was able to actually start venturing out in my community to real people and being like, hi, this is my idea. And then when they rejected me and they're like, that's not really in line with our values and our beliefs, I was like, that's okay. Thank you so much for your time. And then go home and cry about it for a little while. And that was super scary, honestly. Like, I can hear people's conversations and kind of be like, hey, like, I noticed that you're struggling with these things. Do you mind if we like sit down for a little bit and we can like talk it through? And I'm just a really great listener. I ask them a lot of questions and I help them find their own answer to a lot of these problems. Like, I can do that all day long, but then trying to pitch a whole idea to a company, no. Trying to show up on social media without a bunch of edits also was super duper hard. But whenever I would record content and then I would try to make all these edits and make it super fun, it would take me months. So obviously that wasn't in line with who I was, even if I thought that it was like really fun, right? Side note, I remember there was one time it was like a couple days prior, I got rejected by a company, and we had been talking, oh my gosh, I think for like 2 or 3 months. I was giving them all these business proposals. They were like, give me a business plan. I'm like, bet. They're like, what's your budget? I'm like, here it is, babe. I don't know I've never done this before, but here's the best I got. And it was so cool. And then I was making all these like lesson plans and all this stuff. I digress. There was a lot of effort and time that I put into making this really cool thing so that I could start working with this business. And after 3 months of them being like, yes, this sounds so cool, like, we love it, they were like, oh, they sent me an email, they're like, this doesn't align with us, but thank you for your time. And I was like, and so I was crying, not gonna lie, because there's so much, I was grieving, there's so much time and energy that I put into this. Of course I'm grieving, I'm gonna find a way through it, but I'm grieving right now. That was kind of my vibe. But I went to this event that my family was going to, and then I was helping out a kid after take some of the extra food somewhere, and I was in tears. I was trying so hard throughout that whole thing not to cry, and I was just bawling my eyes out whenever we went to go drop it off. And the kid was like, are you good? I was like, no, but that's okay. He was sweet. He tried to talk to me about it, and I was like, no, like, I can't talk with you about it because then we're gonna be here for 4 hours, because I try to explain a little bit of everything, and I can handle this on my own a lot quicker, and it's going to be fine. I don't know if that was good or bad, but that's just the way I operate. But yeah, I feel like because of my connection to myself, I've been able to show up a lot more authentically in my brand. I've been able to help others. I've been also able to like take these no's a lot better. I've been able to actually like grieve it instead of like a few months later coming to it and then like crying out of nowhere and being like, what's going on? Like, I'm actually able to like handle these emotions in the moment a lot more diligently, which is pretty cool. So I definitely encourage you to start building your connection with yourself if you haven't. I also encourage you to continue your connection with yourself if it's something you've fallen away from, or even something that you're in the process of still getting into your habits. It's just a beautiful process, and there's so much wisdom that comes with it that once the wisdom starts to set in, you're like, okay, I see what the hype was about. We'll keep this up for a little bit longer. So, but yeah, and then build a brand, not a business. Don't worry about niching down. Just worry about your connection to yourself and how you already show up in your life and how you're able to seamlessly connect that into your habits. And so you're able to post yourself online, or maybe you're just connecting with your community in all these different little ways. So I love you guys. I hope that you remember that you are definitely worth every single moment in this universe that it is given to you. You are worth connecting to yourself. You are so worth taking the time to love yourself so that you are better able to love others in the future. I love you guys. Have lots of fun today. You can make today a fun day. You just got to do one thing that brings you joy. But peace.